Hi, Mattias and Mattias over here. Yeah, if you guys had a day to kind of decompress a little bit here, I guess both of you, just what can you say about the body of work that you guys have put together so far? Mattias Ekholm, I guess we'll start with you.
Yeah, it's obviously it's nice to get a couple days here. At least take a day yesterday with a day off, not having to come to the rink for it'd be a first in a while just to do that. And yeah, obviously good feeling. We're where we want to be, but at the same time, it's one day we can enjoy it. Then now we kind of move on, turn the page, and start looking at Florida and what we need to do. Because I mean, I've been in this. Both of us have been in this position before, and not coming out winning on the last series. So I know how easy it is to get carried away and feel too good about yourself. So it's obviously you're going to enjoy it, but at the same time, you got to turn the page and move on and start focusing on what's coming Saturday night.
Mattias, do you like the extended time between games, or do you kind of want to get things going here?
Yeah, I think it's been a lot lately. We kind of got one Game 7 there against Vancouver and kind of got thrown into this series right away, and a lot of travel and a lot of pressured moments. So like you said, yesterday was a nice day to just decompose and take a mental rest, and then today kind of turn the heads back on again and looking forward to Saturday.
Hey guys, I just wanted to ask you about playing in Canada and how this is the sport here, and you know they're not second fiddle to anything else. And what's it like as guys that have come over from Europe to play in Canada? And did you know what the experience would be like before coming in here? If you could start with Ek, if you want to start, and then.
Well, it's amazing when you win, so that much. But I tend to look at it in a way where, I mean, we're playing to win. We have a team that is set to do good things out there, and when you have that, you want to be somewhere where people care about it, and good and bad. It's going to be good and bad wherever you are. It's just a little more, I guess, boosted up in a country and in a place like Edmonton where everybody loves hockey and it's like the number one sport. But for me personally, I love it. I think I play the game to win. I'm not playing the game to, I mean, if I lose, then yeah, just call me whatever. Like I'm not going to be good, but or very very light for that matter. But when you actually do win, and I mean, I'm not going into a season not thinking we're going to be good or not going to win. So personally, I understand everybody that says that there is a lot more pressure. You can feel it, but at the same time, it's a matter of embracing it. And again, as I said earlier, I think playing somewhere where people care so much about it it's just great in my opinion. And I think that pressure is a privilege, and I think that. I mean, some guys look at it differently, but for me personally, I really enjoy it, and especially, as I said earlier, when you win, it makes it a lot better.
Yeah, I think whenever you go on a run like this, you make to the finals, wherever you are, it's a special time, and I think you feel it everywhere you are. But I think in Canada, it probably adds to it a little bit more. People go crazy here. I have my mom here, so she was here for the last game, and we drove home, and she was pretty much filming the whole ride home, saying she's gonna remember it forever. So I think that part of it gets a little more special here. But I think whenever you go on a run like this, it'll be special wherever you are.
Mattias Ekholm, Florida's maybe going to offer a different challenge, a very aggressive forecheck and physical group of forwards. You know, Dallas wasn't like that way, even Vancouver to a lesser extent. As a team, how do you prepare for a team like that, knowing that you got to get your head wrapped around the fact that you're probably going to get hit a lot more, you're going to be pressured more than maybe you did last series? How is that a change for you?
Yeah, I agree. Dallas was a little bit different, but I do think that Vancouver series was a physical series, and I think they had some big guys that really wanted to make their presence known in a physical way. So I do think we've seen it. I do think we've handled it. I thought we handled it really well in that series. But obviously, it's a different challenge, and that's what's great about the sport of hockey, and that's what's great about this run is that every series seems to be a different style of hockey, and that's what challenge you as a team and as a player. You have to be able to play every single style to be able to hoist it in the end. So for us, it's a matter of obviously we'll look at what their tendencies are and whatnot, but we know it's going to be physical, and we're up for that challenge. And I mean, it's a mental preparation you're going to have to go into. You know, you're going to get hit more, but the one thing that I think personally as a demon coming out of that too is if you can handle that and you can spin off your forechecker or whatever, make a good play defensively, you can actually join the rush too, knowing that, okay, maybe we get a man advantage up ice here. There's been some series that we've played some teams here where it's like, well, you make a great play in the D zone, but they still got 4 guys going through, so it doesn't really matter what you do down there. You're just kind of trying to break it out. So I personally like it, and I think that's where my strengths are, is reading the game and trying to make good plays defensively to join the rush.
Mattias, the penalty kill, it's the second series that you were perfect against LA and Dallas. Leon Draisaitl mentioned that he feels your penalty kill has been able to kind of control the rhythm of the other team's power play. Take me inside of that, and what do you feel you guys have done well to almost control the rhythm of what the power play wants to do?
Well, first of all, I think the way we penalty kill, we like to pressure a lot, so that way we kind of ends up doing that, but then it can go the other way too. I think if you take every series and you take the Dallas series, we had a huge game 1. We got a lot of kills. I think it was 5, and then it wasn't that many kills every game, but that kind of set the tone, and we kind of got them on their heels a little bit, and that way we could dictate the tone. But that being said, like, it's going to restart here against a new team, and we got to put in the same work we did early in that series, and then maybe we can do the same to them.
It's really for both of you. After the game, Zach said that this season has felt like 10 seasons with the roller coaster that the team's been on, from the really low lows to the really high highs. How do you think that mentally prepares you now for a Stanley Cup Final?
I think it has a lot to do with it. I think that has a lot to do with that we're here right now. I think you look at when I got traded here last year, we went on a run to finish the regular season, and we didn't really hit any adversity, and then we hit adversity in the playoffs, and it's like, oh, what's this? We haven't seen this for months. But this year, I truly feel like being down in the trenches, being down, we basically hit rock bottom. You learn a lot about your teammates. You learn about yourself. You learn about your team, and I think that's the lessons that we've been able to apply, because I feel like we have done a really good job not being fragile, so to speak, in playoff series, because the momentum shifts so much in between games. And I mean, we had an emotional, tough loss in game 1 against Vancouver, but we didn't let that linger. We kind of got right back out there, and I think those early lessons in the year helps you with that. And again, I think that's a big part of why we're here.
Mattias, this might sound like a dumb question, and I've asked a few over the years, but it was hot and humid in Dallas. And was it different playing there in terms of from an energy level? And because I'm thinking you might see the same sort of thing in Florida. Is it a different experience for the players, also compounding the difference in the ice conditions as well?
Ice conditions, now you're getting to where I was going to go with that question. It's like, I thought the ice was very different from what we have here. I think we're also pretty spoiled about how good of the ice is here on a nightly basis, but I thought whether that has to do with the heat and the humidity, I don't know, but I thought that the ice was a bit slower in Dallas. I thought it was, you could definitely feel a difference. So I guess it's good that we had that experience already, and if it is the same in Florida, I don't know. It tends to be a little bit about every building has a different way of doing it, so I can't really answer that question, but hopefully having that experience of being in a place that is same conditions may help us. I don't know.
Mattias, Janmark, you played in Dallas. Like, do you notice a difference when you go back there or play in those Sun Belt markets with the ice conditions at all?
Actually, when I played there, I always thought it was pretty good ice, and then I went to Chicago, and it was the COVID year, and I went back, and I didn't like it at all, and yeah, so when I played there, like I said, I thought it was pretty good, so I don't know if it's changed since then, but you run into buildings like that, so it's nothing you're not used to, and you can adjust to it pretty quick. It's the same for both teams, so.
Tom would have panicked. Question for Mattias Ekholm. This is from Cam Tate, actually. You mentioned that pressure is a privilege. He was just wondering kind of when you first adopted that, maybe first heard that, liked it, and adopted that idea.
Well, it comes, I guess, with experience, and it comes with being in those moments. I think I remember we played with Nashville. A couple of my first playoff series I think it was against Chicago when they had their, call it a dynasty or whatever, when they won a couple of cups there, and or 3, I guess. But they had all those teams, and it just seemed like they weren't really bothered by it. They were going about their business, and they just seemed unfazed by any sort of pressure or any moment or whatever. And I thought then and there, it was a learning curve and a learning process for me, and just seeing that. And then I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be in the playoffs every year pretty much in my career. And you get in those moments again, you got to kind of learn how to handle it, learn how to live with it. And then at the end, I think you find somewhere throughout the career, I can't tell you when it was for me, but you got to understand that pressure is something good. People do believe that you are good, and that comes both as a player and as a team. And yeah, I don't know, that was kind of a long answer, but I think that's somewhere in there. You kind of learn how to deal with it, and then you kind of need some experience on the way.
Mattias, just to follow up on that, there was a great shot on Oilers Plus taking us inside the dressing room. Everyone was so calm after that massive victory in Dallas in Game 5, excuse me. Do you feel like the team also feels the same way about the pressure you guys feel?
I do, and I think that playing Vancouver in a second series, in a second round, with all that hype and all that pressure and all that stuff going on, whether it was here or in Vancouver, I think winning out of a series like that, I think it kind of calms everything down. It's almost like we got past, I'm not saying the big hurdle, because every hurdle gets bigger the further you go in the playoffs, but I do think that series was like, okay, well, this is pretty much as intense as it can get, but I'm sure it's going to be even more intense now where we're in the finals. But that's kind of was my feeling, at least, coming out of that series and going into round 3. So I do think we have felt a calmness after that, and I thought we, as I mentioned earlier in the question, like I feel like we've grown a lot from last year, is that we're not that fragile about things happening, losing a big lead, whatever in a game. It's just a reset and it's on to the next game, and that's what the playoffs is all about. You can't let it linger from game to game. You can't be down on yourself because you played one bad game. It's just first to 4. It doesn't matter how you do it. So I do think there is a calmness with that within the team, just knowing that we've been through it, so to speak.
For the Mattiases, Florida just was in the Stanley Cup Final last year, which would seem like a big advantage. So I'm wondering, for guys who have been there before, what it was like the first time and how long it takes you to get acclimated and settled in.
Yeah, I think speaking for me, like it's a lot of emotions involved, especially when you win the conference final. And you get the trophy and whatnot, and the hats and everything. It's a lot of emotions involved, and sometimes maybe when I was in the bubble, so we kind of got thrust into the series right away, and now we get some time to handle it. But that could be one thing. But like I said, and I think we got time now to handle those and get ready for the final. But that would be the one thing that maybe changed the second time around.
Yeah, I can just jump in quick on that, and I think that the way every final is different, obviously, but we had a team that hadn't seen, I think we had one guy or something that had seen a final before, and one thing that maybe we did consciously or not, but I mean, we obviously got off to a rough start. We lost both on the road, and it was almost like it took a game and a half to where we figured out that, we have to play hockey too. It's not just a big all-star game or a big showcase. So that's something that I remember, that maybe a lesson that I learned in that was that everything before, like, it's a lot of media, it's a lot of requests left and right, but and we have some days to take care of that, so that's great. But when we come 8 o'clock Eastern on Saturday night, we got to be dialed in, ready to go. Because if you dip your toe in the water too long, it's over in a heartbeat. So that'd be one thing I'd add to that, and which was my experience.